given this particular panel and the kind of people we have who are going to talk in this panel, the experts, it is going to be a very, very energetic session. And the topic is such, and a very vital subject and topic in the overall two-day summit, we have not touched on this. Nutraceuticals for prenatal, maternal and child's nutritional health. Very, very important subject, and for that, we have a plethora of industry experts who are going to share their thoughts, their knowledge, and enlighten all of us. So before I call the eminent panel members, would like to highlight some points of discussion before you. The importance of maternal nutrition at maternal and child nutritional levels, the role of nutraceuticals on the mother's and child's disease and health, is fortification an answer to malnutrition of mother and child, challenges faced by the manufacturers for an evolving and diverse consumer base today, and many more. So ladies and gentlemen, without taking further time of yours, please help me welcome the honorable panel members in the order of the sequence. Joining us first in this panel, Dr.Manickavasagam, Vice President, Ennutrica. A big round of applause to Dr. Manickavasagam. Welcome to the stage, sir. Please have your seat. Joining next in the panel, we have Ms. Aparna Tandon, Lead Nutrition NPD from Signutra. A big round of applause to Aparna. Aparna, welcome to the panel. Please have your seat. Joining us next in this panel, we have Dr. Neerja, Hajela, Head Science and Regulatory Affairs from Yakult, Danone, India Private Limited. A big round of applause to Dr. Neerja. Welcome, madam. Always a pleasure to have you. Please have your seat. Joining next, we have Dr. Laxmikant, Palo, CEO, People to People Health Foundation. A big round of applause to Dr. Laxmikant. Welcome to the panel, sir. Joining next in the panel, we have Ms. Rohini Saran, Program Advisor, Nutrition South Asia Hub from PATH. A big round of applause to Rohini ji. Welcome to the panel. Please have your seat, madam. Joining next in the panel, we have Ms. Purnima Thakur, Assistant Director, Technical Food Safety Standards Authority of India, FSSAI. A big round of applause to Rohini ji. Welcome to the panel, madam. Joining next in the panel, we have Ms. Chayaa Rajappa, Founder and Managing Partner, Nectar Fresh Foods. A big round of applause to Chayaa ji. Welcome to the panel, madam. Please have your seat. And now I would like to call on stage our honorable moderator for the panel, Ms. Shilpa Wadhwa, Founder and Managing Partner, Nectar Fresh Foods. A big round of applause to Shilpa ji. Welcome to the stage, madam. Shilpa ji, I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic session. It's a very critical subject and topic, and I'm very happy to see so many women represent this particular panel, because it is something that I think the women are the best ones to talk about. And you have a amazing panel with you, very experts, including yourself. So looking forward to a great session. I think the audience is very, very excited for this session, as it's such a critical topic. So all over to you, and all the best for a great session.
Hello, a very warm welcome to all of you. Post-lunch session gets a little tricky. We get into a little happy zone after a nice lunch. But here I'll request all of you to sort of give some time attention to the very eminent speakers on the dais who come from very diverse backgrounds, having very well-established body of work behind and experience behind them. So let's make the maximum of this opportunity in front of us, and wishing us a very informative, insightful panel discussion on the very important and pertinent topic of prenatal, child and maternal nutrition, which goes beyond just how it affects our generations. Here we're also trying to explore the role of nutraceuticals and how it can impact positive outcomes for generations to come, right? So without much ado, I would like to start the panel discussions, and I'd like to pose a question to all our honorable panel members, wherein they could share some insights with us in the space they've agreed to, right? So Aparna, I'll direct the first question to you. in how do you look at or how do you see the importance of maternal and child nutrition?
First of all, thank you so much, Sinex and Shilpa ma'am, for having me on this panel. Talking about the maternal health, and when we say maternal, we are talking about pregnancy and lactating phase of a woman. Now, when we compare the requirements, nutrient requirements of a non-pregnant and a pregnant woman, the requirements goes on a higher side when it is pregnancy, because we want the optimal fetal development. And for that, she needs more of protein in her diet. The requirement goes from I would say 25% to 30% more. The requirements become 78 gram per day as compared to a non-pregnant woman who requires somewhere around 54 or 50 grams of protein. So protein is one which is required for the optimal birth weight of a fetus. The other micronutrients which are of importance is iron, folic acid, calcium, again for the proper blood volume of the growing fetus, the bone development, and folic acid specifically so as to prevent any kind of neural tube defects. So these particular nutrients are very, very important, and a lot of deficiency is also seen in this particular segment. In pregnancy, in lactation, females are becoming more anemic, and these are the data available, and the policy makers are also distributing iron, calcium, and folic acid tablets to the rural segment, to the people who need it more, where the deficiencies is more. So these particular micronutrients become very, very important for the overall development of the fetus and even for making maternal stores, just to make the female ready for the lactation phase and to take care of her own health as well. The other new ingredients which are now very popular as well is the DHA for the proper brain development of the fetus. As we all know, DHA is a byproduct coming from your omega-3, which is one of the essential fatty acid. We need to take that from our diet. Our body cannot synthesize omega-3. So DHA comes from your omega-3 only, and DHA is very, very important for the brain development, which is going to happen in this 1,000 days time. So during pregnancy as well as during the first 2 years of the infant or age, the DHA becomes very important, the omega-3 becomes very important. Other than this, the choline studies are going on, which is again a very essential B group like a vitamin. It is not yet classified in the vitamin category, but choline, a lot of research is being done. Choline along with folic acid and vitamin B12, it helps in reducing the chances of neural tube defects. So these are few of the nutrients which I would like to touch upon when it comes to maternal health. And coming to child nutrition again, because they are in the growing stage, and we are talking about 1,000 days wherein 0 to 2 years age, the child is now out, and we have to now support through the external diet. So one is breast milk, of course, from exclusive breastfeeding from 0 to 6 months, but after 6 months, we start the weaning foods as well. So iron-rich food items needs to be included in the weaning food because it is lacking in the breast milk. We need to give good amounts of calcium because the child is growing. For their proper physical growth, so that they grow properly in height, in weight, as per their age, we need to give them good amount of calcium, good amount of protein in their daily diet. Vitamin D, of course, because it is important for the absorption of calcium. We need, as all our grandmother says, that we need to keep the newborn infant in sunlight so that they can get the vitamin D naturally. So we should incorporate all these nutrients in the maternal as well as in the child nutrition. So I hope I would be able to summarize my nutrition point for both the categories.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing these insights. My next question would be to Purnima. And what has, in your observation, been the impact of food supplements on early childhood development, especially with children either with moderate to acute malnutrition?
Thank you for that question. That's a very interesting question. When we talk about malnutrition, I will be specifically focusing on undernutrition, though we all know that our country is suffering from a triple nutrition burden as of now, wherein we have the undernutrition, overnutrition, and we have the micronutrient deficiencies that are spanning up. And micronutrient deficiencies is something not we are seeing just in the undernutrition segment, but we are also seeing in children who are overnutrition. As far as undernutrition is concerned, we are focusing mainly on the lipid-based nutrients, which have a very positive impact on the development of the child. Now, as from our panel members said, that we have to look in a holistic approach, the life cycle approach that we are focusing on, where we are developing the nutrition of a woman. We are automatically making her positively skewed towards a positive mother with a positive nutrition. So automatically the child will have lesser chances of being malnourished. So in these cases, if a child is suffering from undernutrition, we focus on LNS. Then we have corn-based soy products as well, which really help in developing the nutritional aspect of the child. Of course, because we are sitting here on a panel of nutraceuticals, we cannot forget our very own medium-chain triglycerides, which directly get absorbed in the gut. And especially for children who are suffering from malnutrition, their absorption capacity or the bioavailability of nutrients, it gets decreases. And the rapid experiences with the infections make it very difficult for them to absorb these nutrients. So we really have to focus on their gut health so as to improve the bioavailability of the nutrients. So the area of focus should be this. Besides this, we have sorghum-based supplements also, which help in the undernutrition kids. There is a very interesting data that I would like to share with all of you, and this has been shared with Mintel with me. I happened to attend a conference. And in that, it is very astonishing to know that only 36% of the Indian population is actually taking nutraceuticals. And in that, only 10% is taking the regular nutraceuticals that we are talking about. And I'm talking about a population which is healthy. So now we can estimate how our young mothers and how our children are actually taking these dietary supplements. Our country is already suffering from undernutrition. So my request to the industry is to focus on these botanical products as well to improve the nutrition of the child. I hope I answered that question.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Indeed, life cycle approach is a way to go. You can't pick and focus only on one particular stage in life. It has to go across the life cycle for any results to be, seen to be percolating down to the last generation. After that, I would like to direct my question to Dr. Manik. How do you see the nutraceutical requirements in adolescent girls specifically? Because they are a very important part of the chain, the life cycle chain. And how do you think nutraceuticals are impactful or effective for adolescent girls?
Yeah, the most important phase of a woman is the adolescent. The reason is the adolescent is having two different. One is the hormone changes as well as the physiological changes. In this physiological change, they need more proteins. As said by Aparna, it is very clear that more protein is required, more fat is required, as well as we need vitamin A, B, C, D, E. All these 5 vitamins are very, very vital where it has to be taken, because they are going to be a reproductive systems for the next generations, where it carries immune to the babies also. So this is a particular age when they have been ready for the reproductive systems. The important part is, very important part is, around 90% of the calcium deposit which is going to happen in a human body, particularly for women, it's going to be in this age. That is between 13 to 17 or 18 we can make it out. This 90% of the calcium deposit has to be happen, and balance 10% is going to be completed within 23. Exactly, we can make it out 23 to 25. After that, there is no calcium accumulation in the body. It is like a bank which is going to deposit in your body, and it is going to be utilized in the rest of the years up to still the last breath. This is where the bone-related issues are coming. We have been not so concentrated during this period. And because of the modern world, we have been shifting towards something else. We are giving foods, definitely, but we have been more concentrated on junk foods, which is not so nutritious. These are the vitamins which has to be taken care very carefully, and it is widely available, as rightly said by, in the green leaf. All these nutrients are available in the green leaf, and then next is milk is the most. And there is a Bengal gram. That is also a very vital things which can be used in these particular ages. Because for a man and woman, the differences during the adolescent ages is there is a physiological changes is very wide in the woman than in a girl than a boy. So this is a particular stage where, as a man, as a woman, we have to address in every family, we have to tell and we have to take care of this particular age. That is what I want to try to tell about this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for answering this question, Dr. Manik. My next question would be to Rohini, and given the body of work she has behind her, how do you think, food fortification plays a role in addressing the very pertinent micronutrient deficiency in our country, that is anemia? And if possible, can you also share some examples of some successful fortification programs in the country and also maybe globally, which we can all take inspiration from?
Great. Thank you so much for that question, Shilpa, and thank you, Sinex Group. I think first and foremost, just wanted to put that out there that food fortification is not really, the silver bullet. It's a complementary strategy, and it has to be taken across with supplementation and diet diversification. However, given the case of India as well, if we start, India, like, Purnima did mention that it's undergoing a triple micronutrient burden. So it's very critical that we take as much as bioavailable, iron sources as possible. Food fortification is a very simple one. There are no organoleptic changes. It's easier. It's built into the diet. But also, I think the success story that today India presents on food fortification is something that is very important. And a lot of that credit actually is also given to the private sector, because they've done so much in terms of supply and balancing both the demand and the supply. But the success story of India is that India truly is the first country to have seen this level of scale up. I mean, 800 million people is what we are catering to currently. Anemia is a global problem, not just an India issue, but it is one of the best methods to take forward. So I think that is the biggest story. And recently, in real-time situation, if you look at it, there have been research studies which have shown a 29% decrease in anemia levels once with the use of fortified rice. So that's huge for the country. So even if we manage to do that, we'll align to the SDG goals, as well as look at how can we safely navigate the micronutrient problem across populations. I'll stop here. Thanks.
Great. Thank you for this. And of course, this is one of the critical problems that we as a nation face. We haven't been able to over so many unsuccessful attempts, we haven't been able to find a solution for anemia. And if fortified crops, fortified grains is the way to go, then let's explore that to make sure that our population is as anemia-free as possible. My next question would go out into continuation with this would be to Aparna, on specifically on nutraceuticals for women's health. What do you, according to you, are the key nutraceuticals that are important at this stage?
So when we say woman health, so we normally divide the woman life cycle into different phases. One is adolescence, one is pregnancy and lactation, the other one is menopause, and then the elderly. So these are the 4 different phases of a woman's life. And in every phase, the nutrient requirements are different. As rightly said by Sir, during adolescence, the kind of nutrition she is consuming is going to have an impact on the later on when she is going to become pregnant. So this is how she is preparing her body. And nowadays, we are seeing a lot of PCOD cases. PCOD is again is becoming more common because of overweight and obesity, because of physical inactivity. They are gaining more weight. They are becoming hormonal imbalances happening because of PCOD, and they are having problem at the time of conceiving. More number of infertility cases we are seeing. So in the adolescence phase, nutraceutical, how this is playing a role? This is playing a role by giving a holistic, or so to say a balanced kind of a formula, which is gonna provide all the micronutrients. The micronutrient deficiency is very common among the adolescents girl. So one is, yes, we want to cover up that, fill that gap with the nutraceutical by giving them good amount of micronutrients which is missing in their diet, and at the same time controlling their weight. It could be through nutraceutical, it could be through changes in their lifestyle by adopting a balanced, healthy diet and improving on their physical activity, including more of physical activity in their daily diet. During pregnancy and lactation, I've already covered what all nutrients are important. And the nutraceuticals, they have a lot of offerings wherein they are meeting the protein, the micronutrients, the DHA and other nutrient requirements. So nutraceutical basically helping the mother to fill the nutrient gap, which is there because she is not able to take that much amount of protein or micronutrients in their daily diet. So just to fill up that gap, the nutraceuticals are available in the market. The other phase is menopause, wherein again the hormonal imbalance is happening. And because of that hormonal imbalance, there is again slowing of the metabolic rate. Again, they are gaining weight in this particular age of their life. So they need to control weight, and calcium deficiency is something which is very common, very prevalent. So osteoporosis, chances of fractures, these becomes on a higher side. So again, one should start consuming calcium-rich foods or vitamin D-rich foods in once they reach 30 plus, so as to maintain their blood circulating calcium level, so that there is no extraction of calcium from their bones, so that they can have a good healthy bone density as they grow older. And in the elderly, because of the physical attributes, they are not able to take that much amount of food. Because of the teeth issues, they are not able to chew foods properly. Again, the nutraceutical can have the offerings in terms of giving a complete balanced kind of a nutrition which can fulfill their requirements, which can help them in meeting their protein requirements, so that they are not losing out from their muscles. Once they start losing muscles, which is sarcopenia, again, their physical mobility becomes restricted. They are not that mobile. So nutraceutical again offers them with the protein supplementation and the micronutrient supplementation.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for these insights. My next question would be directed to Dr. Neerja. And having done a lot of work in this space, we see a lot of new science emerging in the space of gut microbes, right? And if you can just share some light on the relation of a healthy gut microbe and maternal and child nutrition, that'd be great.
At the outset, thank you very much to Sinex for this opportunity. And Shilpa, thank you for that question. So actually, I'm shifting gears. Because when we're talking about maternal and child nutrition, I think it goes hand in hand with the bioavailability of the nutrients. And that's where gut health becomes very, very important. And for centuries, bacteria were deemed to be harmful. They were thought to only cause disease, and a sterile, microbe-free world was considered to be the safest. But surprisingly, in the last decade, we've learned that we harbor 40 times the microbes as human cells on the human body. If you were to weigh these microbes, they're a good 2 kilograms in weight. And they're found in every part, including the lung, the oral cavity, and the largest number of these microbes are found in the gut. And it is these microbes which actually influence digestion. They boost your immunity or help in the development of the immune system, simply because 70% of the body's immune system is found in the gut. And they are your first line of defense against the harmful pathogens. So these microbes are very, very important. And that's what we've just learned, that who really is the host, whether it's these microbes or it is us. And these microorganisms, which the largest numbers which are found in the gut, they are not stable. So they are dynamic, they fluctuate with individuals because of dietary habits, because of age, because of stress, because of use of antibiotics, exposure to environmental pollutants. So there are several reasons why there is a fluctuation in the microbes in the gut. And we know that they are the good, the bad, and the ugly. So it's the good microbes which are very important for a healthy gut, for ensuring proper digestion of food, absorption of nutrients, and the like. Now, changes in the microbiome, you'll be surprised to know, occurs as early as during pregnancy. So just like all other organs of the body which undergoes dramatic changes during pregnancy, you'll see that the gut microbiota and microbiota in the vagina, the oral cavity of a pregnant woman is very, very different. So the gut microbes of a pregnant woman in the first trimester actually resembles that of a healthy woman. But in the third trimester, the microbes is literally like that of an IBD patient. And when you transfer the gut microbiota from a third trimester pregnant women to mice, the mice become fat. They become less sensitive to insulin and they have inflammation in the body. So there are a lot of studies which have shown now today that what we believe the intrauterine environment or the amniotic fluid and the placenta, which was sterile, are actually bathed with microbes. So what happens is when the fetus is in the womb and swallows the amniotic fluid, which is full of microbes, then these microbes interact with the GI system and with the immune system and act accordingly. So it's the right balance of the microbes which are very, very important. And there are studies which have shown that, newborns who have necrotizing enterocolitis, they have a poorly developed gut, they have a poorly developed immune system, and if you were to just look at the microbes, the gastric aspirates of preterm and term babies, they are significantly different. So these microbes play a very, very important role, and there are a lot of studies just modulating the gut microbiota with interventions like probiotics, prebiotics, and synbiotics may reduce the risk of infections in newborns and also in pregnant women. And now recent studies have shown that women who have allergies during pregnancy, the odds that they pass it on to the newborn are significantly higher. Also, when you see women who have gestational diabetes, the newborns have the gut microbiota, which is similar to the adult with diabetes, but the newborn may not have diabetes. Also, women who are overweight during pregnancy, the newborn has a very different gut microbiota as compared to newborns of mothers who are low birth weight. So the microbes are playing havoc with our body. And it's strange that almost every part of the human body is actually determined by the microbes in the gut. So, the gut microbes are linked to nutrition in a very, very intricately linked to nutrition.
Thank you very much. This is really insightful. I mean, there's so much that, even I didn't know of coming from a very strong nutrition background. But yes, this is new emerging science, which is also helping, shape how it's going to proceed further. And gut health is one of the key drivers for, defining human health. So very interesting space and good to have had this insight from you, Dr. Okay, so my next question would be to Dr. Palo. And this, again, so we have heard and we have understood what are nutraceuticals and their importance in the various stages of life. What, according to you, are the key drivers, which may help us address the operational gaps that exist for maternal and child nutrition? So what, according to you, has worked so far and what could be the possible solutions?
Thank you, Shilpa. I think let us shift a little bit discussion towards more operational. We know all here, I see mostly the industry people here. Of course, public health, nutrition, little maybe low presence here. What is important? We all know maternal child nutrition is one of the key, life cycle intervention, right? So when we all know what needs to be done, right? Either it's a micronutrient, whether it's a young infant and young child feeding, whether it's adolescent care, women's nutrition. But what is our challenge? If you see the last mile nutrition delivery, that's where the challenge. It's not about the upper class who can have all kind of micronutrient access, nor the middle class who can afford to buy. What is that last mile delivery where a lot of operational gaps exist? So what we need, we know what works, but how part is missing. So our focus should, what is the base of that pyramid of that population? A large chunk of the population, maybe 80% or more than that are in that segment, where we need to address these operational gaps. Talk about, because nutrition is not food. You agree or disagree? Let me know also that. Or maybe you can have a question on that. Food and non-food factors are important. Non-food factors are more critical. You can, yes, there are challenges of equity, equitable access to food, even at the household level, all those challenges we need to address. Gender aspect of the whole food and nutrition. But sometimes the food overshadows the nutrition. That is a struggle in this country also, in many of with the operational level. So we have to see food is not nutrition, food and non-food factors. Even hand washing, simple hand washing. If you give all kind of foods, micronutrient, if hand washing is not taken care, it's gone. So we have to see more holistically the whole approach. I think a couple of panel members also mentioned that, how we can have more, because we have been always divided in this country, how many departments are responsible for nutrition outcomes of people. 12 departments, 12, agriculture, rural development, your WCD, your health department. So basic health is also, immunization is also very important for child, right? So how we are looking more multi-sectorally, acting sectorally. I know that you are more from the food industry, probably you are looking at that lens, but understanding the other angle of the program is very critical. Because you cannot work multi-sectorally, but you can work sectorally with a better understanding about multi-sectoral. Then only nutrition outcomes will be improved. Otherwise, it's silos, very specific intervention. Maybe you are targeting a very specific target group where you are missing the essentially those people at the base of the pyramid. Because poor diet is not a choice. It's because there is no access. That's why poor diet. Maybe she has knowledge that I should, mother always she has knowledge, but access to that diet, even at the household level. You go and recommend during pregnancy you should have one more meal or whatever you get. Does she even recommending a simple egg, extra egg? Does the mother has the access? That is the situation in our rural part. Even the urban nutrition also we have seen it's worst. The sanitation issue, the hygiene issue. So we have to see those issues. So there are 5 things if we really need to address the operational gaps. One is look more multi-sectorally, at least have a view, how. Otherwise your efforts are going maybe in a very limited way. It's not giving any outcomes. Second is household, where we are focusing that household more integrated, because your mother and children, if they don't get that support system, it's not going to having mother sensitized, because we go and sensitize mother, she's already taking care of the child, but that environment is very important. And accountability, the delivery of nutrition, accountability at our level, even at the panchayat, even all the system level is very important. And capacity to deliver, that's very important. So because understanding from a industry point of view, you may not see that is a big challenge, but from a public health point of view, we see that's a big challenge in this country also. The capacity to deliver. The last thing is accountability, measurement. Because if you need to feed into the policy, you need evidence also, operational evidence. We don't have much operational, how it works. Maybe some contextual experience may work in a certain area, it may not work in other area. So we have to have those dimensions together and looking more holistically, more integrated way of the outcomes of maternal and child nutrition. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Palo. Just to take this thought a little forward, what according to you will be, more essential steps to ensure that at a household level, access is improved both for, maternal and child better health outcomes?
Yeah, I think the good thing of this country is that we have many social safety net programs like PDS, like midday meal, then we have all the micronutrient programs, supplementary programs, through ICDS and other. So one, we have to see, and if you see today, for each age group, there are maybe 4 to 5 schemes already, from the, government side. And, but what is missing is the, sometimes the equity, the access, and the environment at the household level, because empowerment, that's very important, because we know that, if you delay the age of marriage, that has a contribution to nutrition outcome, right? Yeah? If you see the secondary education of girls, it has a contribution to nutrition and health outcomes. Sometimes we have to see beyond those factors and how the empowerment, the most, if you say one single thing which could influence many of the nutrition outcome is empowerment of women. That's very important, which if you see the most of these rural context also, even urban also, that part is a long roadmap for us, and behavior part, the influencing the behavior, because many of the practices are not food related. Those are more adoption, continuity. Because one of the challenges in nutrition also, because if you say you go have a vaccine once in a year, it's easy, because it's once in a year. If you say you have to practice IFA supplementation she was talking about, for say 3 trimester, then 300 days, then it's a long term and there are more complications, then she will stop. So we have to see how to constantly help the mother, more counseling, soft skill, those kind of issues are very important at the household level. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. After having understood this, landscape, we'll try to take a look at how are the regulations and how do they impact the industry at large, right? So my first question would be to Dr. Neerja. You talked about the emerging science, and of course there are new developments that are happening in this space. Do we have a framework, a regulatory framework already available for probiotics and prebiotics in India? And how does that also sort of compare or align with the global regulations or global guidelines that may be?
So thank you again, Shilpa. So the need for probiotic regulations actually came at a point, say 10 years back, when there was an influx of probiotic foods into the Indian market. There were a lot of spurious products, and that is when the Indian Council of Medical Research and the Department of Biotechnology decided to bring out guidelines for probiotics in food. In fact, these guidelines were also published in an international journal, and very clearly they detailed what it took for a probiotic strain to classify, for a strain of bacteria to classify as a probiotic, and also the safety and the efficacy studies for the strain to be then commercialized into a probiotic product. But in 2016, 23rd of December 2016, the Food Safety Standards Authority of India brought out the nutraceutical regulations, where there were 8 different categories of nutraceuticals, and probiotics and prebiotics were also one of them. They were to be operationalized on 1st of January 2018, and that is when they included 28 different species of probiotic bacteria under Schedule 4. And only those 28 bacteria could be used in probiotic products. And I think they had 13 prebiotic products also in Schedule 7 and 8. And the additives that could be used in probiotic products were also 5A to 5F, and that is it. Then on 1st of September 2021, you had the first amendment to the nutraceutical regulations, where they clearly said that the number, so in the previous regulations, what a probiotic product really needed was 10 to the power 8 bacteria per gram per day, per serving size. In the next regulation, which was in September 21, they said that any product which is a probiotic should have 10 to the power 8 CFU per recommended serving size per day. They increased the number of bacteria to 30 species, and they also clearly indicated what a probiotic product must have. So any product which is a probiotic must mention the complete name of the bacteria. Most often what you see is you have products which just say lactobacillus probiotic. So probiotic benefits are strain specific. So you have to mention the genus, the species, and the strain. It also depends on the viable count of the bacteria, which is 10 to the power 8 per recommended serving size, not only at the time of manufacture, but till expiry of the product. So you have to mention the viable count, you have to mention the scientifically proven health benefits, and then again, you have to clearly state that it is not for medicinal use. So the latest regulations which came in on 24th of June 2020, they've really simplified the whole thing. They have 31 different species of bacteria which can classify as probiotics and can be used in foods. They have 16 prebiotic compounds which can be used as prebiotics, and very clearly they mention that any product which is a probiotic or a prebiotic must mention probiotic food, prebiotic food, complete name of bacteria, or the prebiotic ingredient. And when it comes to a prebiotic, you can consume, you can add 40 grams per 2000 kilocalories in a particular product. So right now for probiotics and prebiotics, from what we started, today the regulations are very, very much in place. Yeah.
Thank you very much. My next question would be to Ms. Chayaa. And given the space you've been working in, very closely with the rural and the tribal communities and the farmers, what according to you are the challenges that you will face, as a manufacturer in terms of, in the kind of farming that happens and kind of products that are developed right at those farms, and how do you address those, for your evolving and a diverse consumer base?
Thank you, Shilpa. Actually, it was passion and dedication to empower them that I think played a very important role to see that transformation, because it took us as a brand, for us it took us 7 years to understand, to make them understand the importance of consistent quality, to have the SOPs in place and the standards that we need to adhere, because it didn't happen overnight. Now for the tribal areas where we source our honey from, we source it from across Bharat, what we had to do is, the cans went from us. However you explain to them, they would end up using washed refined oil tins. So then the cans, then the godowns, we had to invest on it. Pest control had to be taken care by us. And the logistic part, you could not carry, when you think of world-class products to come from rural India, you have to see that even your logistics, it's something where manure or pesticide is not used. And then since the entire team who's manufacturing are undereducated or uneducated, we had to really skill them. It took years of dedication by my husband and me, because nothing gives us more satisfaction than seeing being part of inclusive growth. And that is the reason we chose rural India. But once they understand it, then it's a different scenario altogether. I see a vast change in their transformation in their lives, even in the social living conditions, because they get a good price, that's secondary, but they also understand the importance of health, which indirectly helps in nutrition also. So this is something I have, with our own journey, realized how important it is. And most of those highly nutritious products are grown by them. See, be it the wild fruits, and yesterday while I was speaking, I did say that one of the wild fruit that recently we got during April, it immediately increased the, hemoglobin levels. It had that particular nutrition values or whatever required for that. So, what is available in rural India itself, what we consume, most of us, is coming again from rural Bharat.
Right. So this is, these are the local superfoods which we may have lost, over a period of time, the knowledge, the wisdom, and that is something that we need to touch base with again in order to ensure that, we don't rely on, yes, of course, it has to synergistically exist with the modern nutraceuticals and the science, but also keeping in mind the nutritional value of our own roots and our own superfoods. My next question again would be in continuation with this is, how do you overcome challenges like, dealing with the regulatory framework, the product labeling, claims, advertising, etc. Because that, yes, of course, to a modern industry would come much easier than to an enterprise who's, struggling to make the key stakeholders understand the value of quality and things like that. So how do you deal with challenges like those?
Here, I think, again, our obsession with quality helped us tie up with organizations, big organizations, pharma chains. Today, some of the biggest pharma chains are packed at our facility. And we supply honey to the Ayurveda sector, even be it eye drops. So we could not make our presence felt in the, I would say, retail sector, because that is where you need to invest a lot of money and you had the big players there. But with our quality, we chose a different sort of entry where we competed foreign brands. You would not believe that an entire team of uneducated, undereducated team with us, we took out the 30-year-old monopoly of Berenberg and Bon Mema in India's 5-star hotels. And I think that was like, that particular obsession helped us get an entry into the major giants. They guided us. Today, the guidance is coming from them. And we go accordingly to the next level. Today, as investors throng our place, we say we are with the clear, vision of taking tribal and rural empowerment forward. And I was telling Madam, all the guidelines to go by. Now, very shortly, I had a call from a lady who's associated with USFDA, and she's in touch. So they see, and this is how we have been able to consistently maintain. And over a period of time, when you make it a habit, then it is naturally inculcated. But I really wish, where FSSAI is doing a phenomenal good job, but where they could help us a bit furthermore is on certain aspects which could be which should be created awareness with. Example, abroad, if you travel, you would all see honey, you will always see it in a crystallized form. Here in Bharat, if you were to give crystallized honey, they will end up saying you have added jaggery. And others try a whole lot of gimmicks just for this. So I really wish organizations like FSSAI, rather than a small write-up in some small corner where we write granulation in honey is a natural phenomenon, they should come out and so that people get to know what is actually purity. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think it's quite commendable, the kind of job that you're doing and the smart strategies that you're using to compete with some bigger players in the market. Well done there. My next question, and I would like to just sum up the session now with a couple of ending questions. And this is to Rohini. Rohini, what do you think, or how do you think multi-sectoral convergence, can help address the malnutrition, especially the micronutrient malnutrition in the country? So, of course, there are going to be various strategies, but how do you see them all coming together in order to address this deficiencies?
Thanks, Shilpa. I think we have run out of time, so I'll be very brief. But to me, I think when we look at maternal and child nutrition, I see just one clear-cut opportunity. I see convergence as an opportunity. It is an opportunity for the public sector to work with the private sector as a PPP model. There are government safety net programs where you are delivering take-home ration to the mothers and children, and they hold about 50% of the RDA. Coming out with innovation, sharing your best practices, ensuring that you stick to a lot of the quality aspects, undergoing compliance. I think all of that gives an opportunity for convergence at the government level, at the community level, as well as the private level. So I'll stop here.
Thank you. Thank you. And one final question to Purnima. According to you, what are the further areas of research specifically in the field of nutraceuticals?
Thank you for that. Before I answer that question, I won't answer it at a level of government official. I'll answer it in my capacity as a researcher. So the key areas where we look forward in the development of nutraceuticals is based on the research-based evidence approach that we have. The market share, what we are looking at in nutraceutical industry is we are expecting that it will grow from 8.3% to 20% by the time 2030. That is what CAGR says, I mean, according to that. Also, the consumption patterns, if we look at, 31% of the consumption is at the of the nutraceutical products that boosts your immunity. Rest is going into the cosmetical upgradation of the body, as we say so. So my focus area to all the industrial partners over here is that this is just a suggestion that we should be focusing more on products which help in the overall development of the body. And for that, as Madam was saying, Bharat is a very diverse nation, and Bharat has got close to 6,000 to 7,000 herbs. We have plethora of herbs, and FSSAI has already listed down the biodiverse products that can be used by the nutraceutical industry. And when I say nutraceuticals, I mean the prebiotics, the probiotics, the functional foods, and the entire industry as well. Second thing is that the Ayurveda approach is gaining popularity. Besides that, we should also look into the secondary data analysis part, and we must not forget the AI part of it. When we come to the probiotics of it, we have already AI-based applications, we have AI-based tools which can help in the development of the gut microbe, and we can also, there are industrial setups which are looking into the personalized nutraceutical approaches for the people of our country. So that is the third that we can look at. The fourth aspect where industry can look into is the, when we are developing a product, we are majorly focusing on the taste aspect to it. And we are focusing nutraceutical with the pharmaceutical industry. However, this is a food-based approach. So a nutri-food approach is a better approach. In fact, I would request all of you to come up with a better nomenclature for a nutraceutical, because what we have come up in the research studies is that the moment we say a nutraceutical product and we have to pop in a pill, the people in our Bharat, they are like, Madam, ye rehne do. Dawai khane ke liye mat bolo, khana kha lenge. So even the mindset of the people needs to be changed. So the fifth aspect where the industry has to work upon is to bring about the social behavior change in accepting these products, wherein we are actually focusing on the market. We have to actually focus on the awareness generation and accepting the product also. The sixth is, as Sir has correctly said, and I absolutely agree with Dr. Neerja, is GBA. The gut-brain axis is coming in a big way. We are talking about immunity, we are talking about fitness, we are talking about slimming nutraceuticals, we are forgetting mental health. Mental health is coming in a big way, and pharmaceutical industry has already taken into it. We at the nutraceutical level, we are focusing on ashwagandha only and the products of ashwagandha. I think we should go beyond ashwagandha now. GBA is something that we need to focus on, and I'll rest my answer with that. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. I think this was very, you summed it up very nicely. And with that, we bring an end to this session. A very, heartfelt thanks to all the panel members for contributing and sharing their very, very precious insights on this topic.
Thank you so much, Shilpa ji, and thank you so much all the panel members. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, to this wonderful panel session here. And now I would like to call on stage Mr. Hemant Giri from Biomeru, South Asia, to kindly do the honors of felicitating this wonderful panel of experts here. Hemant, thank you so much for doing the honors. Please take the stage. We will begin with Dr. Manickavasagam from Ennutrica. A big round of applause to Dr. Manickavasagam. And thank you so much for your wonderful contribution in the panel. Moving next to Miss Aparna Tandon from Signutra. A big round of applause to Aparna ji for her wonderful contribution. Moving next to Dr. Neerja Hajela from Yakult Danone India Private Limited. A big round of applause to Dr. Neerja for her wonderful contribution in the panel. Moving next to Dr. Laxmikant Palo from People to People Health Foundation. A big round of applause to Dr. Laxmikant for his wonderful contribution in the panel. Moving next to Miss Rohini Saran from Path. A big round of applause to Rohini ji for a wonderful contribution in the panel. Moving next to Miss Purnima Thakur from FSSAI. A big round of applause to Purnima ji for a wonderful contribution in the panel. Moving next to Miss Chayaa Rajappa from Nectar Fresh Foods. A big round of applause for Chayaa ji for a wonderful contribution in the panel. And now we would like to felicitate our honorable moderator, Ms. Shilpa Wadhwa, Head Nutrition and Health and Wellness from Nestlé India. A big round of applause to Shilpa ji for wonderfully moderating the panel session. Now, Shilpa ji, I would request you and the honorable panel members to kindly come forward for a group photograph, and Hemant, please join them as well. Big round of applause once again, ladies and gentlemen. Wonderful panel of experts here today talking on nutraceuticals for prenatal, maternal and child's nutritional health.